Buonasera a tutte e tutti, benvenuti e benvenute per questo quarto ciclo dei seminari sugli studi asiatici promosso dall'Eurasia Foundation Promasia che risiede la sua sede in Giappone, Tokyo. Per quanto riguarda questo ciclo, che ormai è il quarto anno che ospitiamo, con almeno 15 interessanti conferenze riguardo agli studi asiatici, per questo anno abbiamo proprio allargato il nostro campo di conoscenza, diciamo, non rimanendo sempre nell'Asia orientale, ma proprio per coprire tutto il continente dell'Eurasia, anche gli studi arabi e studi turchi, con l'aiuto dei nostri colleghi dell'Unistrasi. Per quanto riguarda il nostro primo appuntamento, siamo molto lieti di poter ospitare finalmente alla nostra università professor Antonio Doménech, professore dell'Università di Malaga in Spagna, che oggi parlerà sul sciamanesimo con titolo del Shamanic Spirituality and Feminism in Korea. Prima di dare la parola al professore, vi introduco brevemente il nostro professore, che adesso è un professore in carica, cioè referente degli studi coreani presso l'Università di Malaga nel Dipartimento dell'East Asian Studies, e poi è stato ha scritto numerosi articoli e libri, tra cui non bisogna scordare la sua nuova edizione in spagnolo di Samgung Yusa, Memorie storiche e di Tre Regni, è una fonte molto importante non solo per la storia coreana ma anche la letteratura classica della Corea. È stato premiato anche varie volte, tra cui nel 2022 ha ottenuto il Faculty Award of the University of Malaga for the Faculty of Social and Labor Studies, e poi nel 2017 ha ottenuto una medaglia dal Ministro di Corea per il suo contributo alla diffusione degli studi coreani in Spagna. Inoltre è una figura molto importante per il network in generale degli studi coreani, soprattutto in Spagna e poi anche in Europa. Invece il suo studio incentrato soprattutto il sciamanesimo e poi il suo riadattamento con il mondo cyber, e poi anche sulle figure femminili rappresentate durante il rito e poi durante la tradizione sciamanica della Corea. Diamo la parola al professor Antonio Doménech, grande applauso. Grazie.
Molte grazie per la presentazione. Prima di tutto vorrei ringraziare anch'io all'Università per Stranieri di Siena per questo invito, e specialmente alla professoressa Chon Imsuk e al professore Kim Guk-chin per invitarmi a fare questa conferenza. Dovevo venire nel 2020 però è venuta fuori questo del Covid e non sono potuto venire, allora ho fatto la conferenza online e dopo dovevo venire un'altra volta e anche ancora non posso. Adesso dopo 4 anni finalmente sono arrivato a Siena e sono veramente contento di essere qua e far possibile questa conferenza presente qua con tutti voi. Allora, grazie mille per l'invitazione. Io ho preparato la conferenza in inglese, allora devo cambiare l'idioma. Faccio la conferenza in inglese, in qualche momento volete fare qualche domanda? Se qualcosa non capite bene o qualcosa, potete fare le domande in inglese, in italiano, va bene, non c'è problema, in coreano se volete. Anche spagnolo, certo. Però dopo la mia conferenza penso abbiamo un po' di tempo per,
Sì.
no? per domande, se avete domande così. Va bene, adesso faccio un cambio di lingua. As Professor Kim said, I've been working in the research of Korean shamanism for the last 30 years almost. And my main focus in I prefer to, if it's okay for you, I will talk home. It's okay? My main focus for the research has been during all these years about Korean women religious practices, especially about Korean women in shamanism, Buddhism, and also with the relation with Confucianism and Christianity. But so for many years I've been working and trying to see these religious experiences from a gender perspective, but I never, for me, all this year, I never thought about the possibility of doing research about the relation between shamanism, Korean shamanism, and feminism. So I thought there were two different aspects that were not related. But just recently, I started to work in this research to try to see if Korean shamanism, especially Korean shamans, can be seen as feminist. So that will be my main question that I was trying to answer. Let me see. So some of the questions, as I just wrote here, that I will try to answer through this talk. I don't know if we'll be able, I think I'm not able yet to give an exact answer about this, but we will see. So the main question I try to answer through this research are these ones here. How can shamanic spirituality relate to feminism? What is the relationship between Korean women shamans and feminism? Do shamans work actively for gender equality? These shamans play an active role in women's liberation for a patriarchal society? These are some of the questions I try to reflect about and to try to work on it. This I started to research because I was invited last year to a congress in Korea about feminism. So I thought it was one good opportunity to start to research about this. So I tried to research about this movement that is somehow new inside of feminism. Many of feminist people are trying to see, to look for a new spirituality, feminist spirituality. So it's a new tendency inside of the feminist movement as general. So as you know very well, and I'm not going to go through this, but feminist movement in the last century and this century have a very important role for changing society all over the world in many different aspects, especially the feminist movement was trying to give an answer to different questions of not only for women but also for people who are discriminated or who are somehow left apart from society, poor people, sexual minorities, and other marginalized groups. But also men, when they would not be able to obtain power or wealth, are subject to persecution, and these people are also inside of this. And nowadays also another aspect that feminist movements are also touching very much is the environmental aspect, how we are destroying our ecosystem. So all these dimensions of feminism nowadays also become this new tendency to look for a spirituality that may be a source of energy and strength to work for all these aspects inside of feminism, inside of our society, no? So feminism is now meeting with the spirituality, finding answers to more fundamental questions and discovering new sources of energy to face all these challenges of today's world. Recently I read a book also that also gave me some inspiration for this research. It was written by a Korean American called Helen Hom. The name of the book is Dancing in the Forest, Korean Shamans in the United States. She said that Korean feminist spirituality, she's researching also about Korean feminist spirituality, and she said that feminist spirituality is the product of a convergence of indigenous folk religions where gender equality in spirituality is achieved and feminism. So the point of view of this researcher, this scholar, is that feminism can find a sort of a new energy to renew the religious experience of women in the world. So she's trying to look to shamanism from this point of view and trying to see how Korean shamanism also may be the source of this new spirituality inside of feminism. So she said also that she argues that the incorporation of feminized spirituality is a means to achieve harmony with masculinized spirituality that, according to her, has been dominating the spirituality, the religious spirituality, for many centuries. So she Home, this researcher, this scholar, observed that Korean indigenous religion centers around the mother, goddesses, women, with Korean shamans, the female shaman, as its core. Therefore, she proposed that Korean feminism research and reconfirm these shamans' roles and move towards feminist spirituality. So, just to say this as a point, so to go inside of this research, I try to, this is the thing. I'm forgetting about the slides, sorry. So, because the slide is not complete. So to continue, so to study about this aspect of shamanism and feminism in spirituality, we have to take in consideration with methodology we are going to use. I've been working, as I said at the beginning, I've been working about this aspect of religious practices in Korea from a gender point of view for all these years. I thought that I think it is very important to see how different religions and different practices and different spiritualities have a very important role in the creation of identities inside of the different religions. Especially, religions are very important for the creation of moral norms, moral principles, moral ethics principles and norms that will determine how we understand the role and the identity of the people who are inside of those religious experiences or the religious traditions. So all religions, they will give different understanding and different norms, how people, how men, how
how women or any other gender identity may behave. And they are very important aspects inside of any religion. So it's very important also to understand this role inside of the different, how different religions give different roles to different, according to different genders perspective. Also inside of this, another aspect that we have to consider is the aspect of gender and symbols. The symbols that we use in each religion to talk about women, about men, how they have to behave, and how they have, what kind of rituals they can do or not, and so on. No? So, and the understanding they have about the body and also the sexuality, and this will be very much related also with the idea of purity and purification. Many rituals we will see that, and we will talk about that later on, that they are very related with the idea of purity and purification. So usually in different religions, they give a reinterpretation of symbols from a gender perspective. So as I say, we have to see to the symbols from a dynamic approach to culture and its reality, with a conception of identity as a social historical construction that is being formed and reformulated on daily basis. Okay, only after say these few things, more theoretical level and more theoretical level, we'll go now more concrete, and I think you are more interested in this, about what shamans, Korean shamans, but I think it was good to have this framework where we can understand better and we can maybe ask ourselves many questions after when we study about shamanism. So you know very well this symbol very well. You know what is in the middle of the, what is this? Well, you know, it's the Korean flag, right? The symbol in the middle is, you know very well, right? What is? Do you know the meaning of the flag? Or Korean flag, do you know? No? No? Not yet? Right, no problem. I will explain. So, as you, the symbol in the middle, right, is the yin and yang. You didn't want to tell me, but sure you know. And there is this yin and yang. They have many meanings, right? And there's positive cosmic force, negative cosmic force, the masculine and the feminine, right? And the other symbols that are trigrams, they come from the I Ching, right? From they are sexagrams, but here they are reduced to trigrams, and they represent heaven, earth, water, and fire. And in fact, they represent this what heaven and earth also are very related in the Korean thought thinking, way of thinking about men and women also. Why did I put this slide as the first? Because Korean religions, one of the characteristics of Korean religions is that for, at least for the last 6-7 centuries, have been very much divided by gender roles in religion. So there was religious practices that were done, performed by men, and religious practices that were performed by women. Very different. So I think it represents quite well the religious cosmovision of Korean people and the Korean Peninsula. So we have the religious practice by men that was mainly the rituals related with the ancestors and were related mainly with the thinking or the way of thinking of Confucian, Neo-Confucianism especially, and is going to dominate Korean history, at least from the 13th century until practically today. So men will practice this ritual, chesa mainly, that is a ritual for the ancestors. And as you can see, is there any woman in the picture? No, no one, right? They're all men. Women will take part only preparing all these foods and things, but they will not take almost part during the ritual, in fact. This is changing, right? This is, I just put in very extreme way, but in the nowadays, this is changing a lot, and women also take part in these rituals sometimes. But traditionally, this ritual was done only by men. So they have a very, very sophisticated way of doing these rituals, and they these are some pictures about these Confucian rituals and how they prepare the different altars, so that you can say now, you will see now the difference with the shamanic rituals. That is our main focus here. But just to have a glance to how so we have these Confucian rituals. On the other side, as you can imagine, women have also spiritual needs, as you can imagine. So where will women perform their religious practices, or where they look for their religious needs, or in which religions do you think they will look for it? So if they have no almost place in the Confucian rituals that they were done by men, so they will look for these practices mainly in the shamanic rituals and in the Buddhist rituals. But today we are only talking about the shamanic rituals, right? But also in the Buddhist rituals, they will they go to the temples and so on. So just to see that they also these are especially in the Buddhist tradition, they will have special rituals and special ritual performed to give special to offer to especially to the bodhisattvas, or to the bodhisattvas. Especially, it's very important in Korea. There is a very important bodhisattva. It's called Kwan Seum Bosal. It's the bodhisattva of compassion. In Chinese, Kuan Yin. In Japan, Canon. The name is in Sanskrit is Avalokitesvatara, but in Korea is Kwan Seum Bosal, and she is the bodhisattva that listen to the sound of suffering of the people. So many temples in Korea, they do different rituals offered to this bodhisattva Kwan Seum Bosal. And you have here just few pictures that you could see how they pray. That is very important when you go to Korea, right? You can go to an island near Seoul, that there is Ganghwado, and there is a temple called Pomunsa. It is dedicated to this bodhisattva. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place because it's just in front of the sea, and the idea is that this bodhisattva take care of all the people working in the sea and so on. No? They go there to pray for all the needs they have. Because the video I don't see, you have to put in the as a presentation. Usually they do like this practice there in the mountains. And they repeat the name of Juan Seung every time. They repeat continuously, Juan Seung Bosal, Juan Seung Bosal. Okay, but this is, so there are many practices, but especially the main practice where women will find a place where to express their spirituality will be in the shamanic rituals. That is what we are going to see. In these rituals, I'm getting sorry. In this shamanic ritual, we have to consider mainly the main point to consider is the figure of the shamanic, the shaman, the shaman, the women shaman that are called in Korean mudang, right? Mudang. They receive many names, but the main name, the more common name is mudang, or manshin is the other one you have there. They are the main, most important protagonists in the rituals. And in the case of Korea, most of the shamans are women. They are also men, but the majority of them are women. So we have to consider mainly the role that the Korean shamans have in the spiritual life, or not only in their own spiritual life, and we will see if we can consider her own spirituality as a feminist spirituality, or the influence they have in the practitioners, the people who go to see them and take part in the rituals, in the shamanic rituals. The other two aspects that we have to consider when we talk about Korean shamanism is also that the main role of the Korean shaman is to put in communication this world with the other world, the living people with the dead and the ancestor and the gods, the divinities that are in the other world. that shamanism is mainly the experience of the personal experience of the shaman, and they try to answer the practical needs of the people, right? They usually, why people go to see a shaman? What do you think? What do you think why people will go and to try to talk to a shaman? Why? Why do you think? If you were to solve a problem, what kind of problems? When you are sick, right? If you have an illness, you are sick, other needs. What other kind of needs do you think a shaman will try to? Why will you go to a shaman if you were in Korea? If somebody died, or so they will go to try to communicate with the lost person. Another reason, do you think? Sorry, I didn't hear you. Right? To try to solve an issue that they may have with that person that during life they didn't solve it, right? Any other thing, do you think? Yeah. So the internal problems or inner problems that they may have. Another thing? Financially, very important, very important. Financial issues is for instance, you probably, I don't know if you see Korean drama and so on, but probably in many Korean dramas you will see sometimes when a business will start, they will do some kind of rituals that the business may go well. So as you see, they are very, very practical things that we need, all of us, and problems that we have. So usually when we think about Korean shamanism, we don't think about very abstract problems or metaphysical problems. So this brings some questions about how is the spirituality, right? Usually when you think about spirituality in Christianity or Buddhism, you think about meditation, many special theme, prayers, and I don't know what. But in the case of shamanism, usually they are very practical, very, very practical things. So we see how this is also reflected in the spirituality, especially of the shamans, right? So these are some people helping the shaman during the rituals, preparing the rituals. This is a very clear image of how the shaman, the main role of the shaman is to put in communication this world with the other world. The shaman is now over the container, something, and she's trying to bring the words of the spirits and the gods to the people who is down there. So I'm also trying to see the fortune, the good fortune of the people through these flags. So they have to choose a flag. According to the color of the flag, they will have a good fortune or bad fortune. So it's a moment, very important moment inside of the ritual of the shaman, where she is in ecstasy. She goes to there's ecstasy. There is another word, but I don't come to now to me. But and she can in communication with the spirits, right? And transmit those words to the other people. She, in this case, now she's over two knives. She's talking to the people. So one of the first shamans I met when I started to work about this and to try to do my field work on shamanism, this was one of the first shamans I met. She's called Piora Manchin. Manchin is another name for Mudan. It means many gods. She's possessed by many gods. And she makes she will tell me about how gods go inside of her, how she's transformed when she gets in this situation of ecstasy. And she will tell me like this. She will say, she say, a general from Pektum Mountain who came across the Duman River will possess me. Another times, another general, Isonge, will also possess me. And I have to act as they told me during the rituals. She will say, it's very important for a Mudan to follow the orders of her possessing spirit, and through prayer and ascetic practice to cultivate one's own being. She has to be very devoted and faithful, otherwise the spirit does not enter her and she loses all her power. So the Mudan create a very intimate experience with the gods who possess them. So this possession, the god practically take rule of the shaman, and she has to act according to what the gods want from her. So there are many. So when they are possessed by the spirit, the shaman has to, in the ritual, go through many dances and songs and so on, to bring this experience to the gods. And very important thing also is that during the rituals, even if the ritual is performed by a man, has to act as a woman. So there is, as I say, there is also shaman men that are called paksu, and they have to dress with the hanbok, that is the traditional dress or Korean dress, and they have to act the same as if they were women shamans. So you can see in this aspect of shamanism, this a very religious experience dominated by the experience of women, right? And this also brings some problem to the main shamans, right? So I wanted to present also the experience of this another shaman that I met during my field work that is called Chombun Sam Paksu. I wanted to read. So in an interview I did to him, I asked him what he would like to be if he was born again, and he replied that he would like to be reborn as a woman shaman. And he said the following: even though I am a man, when I am with a Mudan and at rise, I always dress a skirt, a small waistcoat. The traditional Korean women's custom, hanbok. In fact, you can say Mudan is really a woman's game. So even though I am a Mudan man, because I am always together with Mudan women, I have to dress like them. I have often been told that I look effeminate, and I feel like I am somewhere between a man and a woman. I am kind of neutral. Mudan men have always behaved like this, both in the past and today. They have spoken and acted in a feminine way. Of course, one does not become woman by wearing woman's clothes, but what is certain is that during the cut, one takes the same position as a woman. As I am always with them and we do the cut together, I have ended up becoming one with them. But in everyday life, I have to be very careful with people. So she have to act, no? But in Korean society, for him was quite, as finished, it's quite hard for him to act in that way, no? Because it was not well seen by people that he acted as a woman, being a man. So that is one of the situations that, or problem that Korean men, shaman have to go through and have to solve also. So, but you can see the importance of the women aspect of Korean shamanism. So it's very important also to see, as we said, how is the relation of the Mudan, no, the Korean shaman, with the spirits, no, and we have to see different aspects that are very important in this, in the rituals in this tradition. We will see some of these aspects in the and how is the spirituality of Korean shaman. First of all, it's important to see how you become a Mudan, how you become a shaman, right? To become a shaman, you have to go through a different what do you say, different etapa, what do you say, different steps, different steps. The first one, well, we have two different kinds of how you become a shaman in Korea. One is become shaman because of hereditary reasons. So your mother or your grandmother or familiar is a shaman, and you become also a shaman because you get this from the family. But I will especially talk, and the one we are talking mainly is those who are becoming shaman because they are possessed by the spirit. In a moment of their life, they become shaman because they are possessed by a spirit, and usually they get sick. They get sick, and they don't manage to get well from this sickness, and this sickness is called, usually the sickness in the gut, this is called Shimpion. O sea, es de enfermedad de la this is in Spanish. I thought it was translated. Sorry for that. But is this sickness, Shimpion, is when the god possesses the person, and the shaman becomes sick, but they go to the hospital, and they don't get well. So they go to a shaman, and they told them that they have been possessed by the spirit or by a god, and they have to accept. If they accept this, that they have been possessed by the gods, then they have to go through a ritual of initiation, that is called Nerinkut. The god who possesses this, the shaman, is called Monju is the god, the protector god that will protect this shaman during her whole life, right? So they go through this ritual of initiation. If they do well this ritual of initiation, they go to the next step, that is when they go to a period of formation of, they have to go under the protection and of another more experimented shaman that is called Shinomi. Shinomi is mother in the gods, and the new shaman is the Shintal, the doctor in the gods. No? So they go through this period. They maybe will last for 2 years or 2 or 3 years, and they will learn all the aspects of the rituals and so on. So one of the main important aspects in this experience with the gods, of possession, is the relation they have with the gods. And they are possessed by very many different gods. They have a one that is very important, the one who possessed for the first time them. That is the one we call Monjushin, this protector god, right? But then during the rituals, they are possessed by very many different kind of gods. And many of them, they are goddess also, women gods. And some of them come from, for instance, the goddess, the mountain goddess. Some of the gods come from nature. Others are gods, human gods like all shamans or historical persons, military gods. This is a picture of an initiation ritual during the Nerinkut. So they have to go through different parts of the rituals. If they go well, so they are accepted of part of the shaman's community. As I said, there are different kind of muda, and the main characteristics of these shamans have these ones that, sorry, because I thought I would, they're intermediary between this world and the other world, this aspect of healing, divination. They are to preserve culture and art, the sacerdotal aspect, the relation they have with the ancestors, and very important in the women's world. That's the relation we have. This is another shaman that I met during my field work, that is Chonsun Dokman Shin. She's more younger shaman. She will also tell me about her experience with the gods who possess her, and she always said that she has to take care of the gods when they are possessing her. It's like a very intimate relation. And when she talked about this intimate relation with the possessing God, it's like almost a sexual experience, you can even say, because even she used some words that give this aspect. She always, she said she will tell me about how is her spiritual experience. So she has every day to get up in the morning, and the first thing she does is to go to this room in her house where there are all the ghost pictures, as you can say, in the walls, and also all the elements they use during the rituals. So they go there and they have to put some clean water and some incense and to do some prayers. And also she have always early in the morning to clean herself, to wash herself with cold water, so to clean herself, and then to pray to the gods. So she have a very intimate, and always that people come to consult her and to talk with her about different problems, as we said before. They will come to this place and talk in this place about the different problems they have. This room is called Shindang, is the room of the gods. So the shaman always in their house, they have this special room to dedicated to the different gods. And these are some of the main elements that they use for the rituals. The main elements that they identify what shaman are mainly the myondok, that they are a kind of mirrors, the pangul, that are this instrument here, and the puche, that is the, what do you call the fang. Some of the instruments they use. And the clothes they use is hanbok, and they will change the different clothes according to the different gods that possess them. In the ritual, they have different gods. In the different moments of the ritual, they are possessed by different kind of gods, and they will, according to the gods that possess them, they will use different clothes. These are the altars that they prepare. Very important is also the music, the instrument they use during the rituals. Piri. So this is the shaman I said before, that was the Pioran machine, and she was living in this place. The first time I met her was doing a ritual called Kut, that is the name of the main ritual in her house. That was one of these. This one here. The ritual was done in the house. Nowadays they don't do at home. Usually they do in the mountains, because people usually live in the apartments and so on, and there is very noisy. And the neighbors, they will complain if they do in their houses. Just to conclude, just to say a few words also about, if I find the element that I said before about the importance of pollution and purification in the rituals. Many of the rituals that are done by the shamans are done for this to become clean, and before every ritual they have to do some practices to clean themselves and to clean the place where the ritual is going to do. So very, very much related with the idea of pollution and purification. Also, the shaman, before doing the ritual, the main ritual is the Kut, for instance, they cannot have sexual relations with their husbands, or with anybody else. So this idea of purity is very much, sexual purity is very much present also in the rituals. many also, during the rituals, many of the gods who possess them are goddesses, as I said before. But when they look at them, they usually they lose their gender aspects, and they see them as neutral in the gender, sexual aspect. Many of the rituals also are very much related with the idea of overcoming suffering, or what is called in Korean han. Han is a kind of suffering, regretment, and so on. It's a very, I don't know if you know about this concept, but it's like the suffering that people have, especially, for instance, when as one of your companions said, if a person died, couldn't talk, said something to the people living before dying, so they will go to the shaman so that they make a ritual so that they can pull out their suffering and they can talk to the ancestors, those who have died, so that they can overcome this suffering that they have inside of them. For many centuries also, the suffering that many women have in their families and in the society is a kind of suffering that they try to overcome through these rituals. And this suffering or this regretment that they have inside of them is what is called ham in Korean. So many of all these, mainly these rituals, trying to purify and to overcome this idea, this aspect of suffering that the women have because of their situation of subordination inside of the society. So many of these rituals help them in the emotional level to overcome this. As we can ask ourselves also if this ritual can also help women to overcome that suffering at another levels, different also, not only to the emotionals, but also to another level. This is an important question that we have to ask also when looking at the shaman experience. I put especially this, I don't know if you know this goddess in the shamanic experience, but it's Parikonju, it's called, it's the god that helped the dead people to go to the other world. The Parikonju is in the rituals. There is a myth that is related, is talked during the rituals, and is the one who is helping all the dead people, the spirits of the dead people, to go to the other world. So it's very much related with the suffering of people who are suffering because of the death of the loving one. It has very important role in the kut called Shinogi kut, that is the kut dedicated to the dead people, to help people, to the spirit of the dead, to go to the other world. So just to conclude, I will come back to the question if really Mudan can be considered a feminist, because in fact they work and they do this spiritual experience with women. If Korean shamanism is a feminist religious tradition, we can ask ourselves. I think it is an open question to continue being researching and reflect on. Feminist spirituality can be an answer to give direction to the search for identity among Mudan and spiritual women. It has the potential to become a way for a greater inclusion and liberation. There is a new generation of Korean shamans who are questioning the identity as women and her role as religious leader among women. They are the moral rules, traditions that are difficult to overcome and transform. Shamans are people in between. They are very eager to protect tradition, but at the same time have a great potential to adapt to new challenges in society. In fact, shamans have, I think they are in this situation of between, because they consider themselves protectors of tradition, of Korean tradition, Korean culture, and so on. But at the same time, they want also to transform their role in the new aspect, the new ways that and the changes are taking also place in the Korean society. So, thank you very much. See you have any question, we can.
Thank you so much to Professor Antonio Doménech for his interesting lecture on feminism and the shamanism and some other popular religious aspects of Korean tradition and the contemporary society. Maybe we can accept many questions from our students who wants to ask to the professor about the contents or curiosity on this argument. Please raise your hand so we can, yes.
First of all, thank you very much for your contribution today. It was very, very interesting. And I actually wanted to ask, does the possession by a god, by a spirit, do something to the shaman's mind? Like, how do they come out of the ritual? Do they have to do some other rituals of purification, or are they a blank slate?
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, they have to do the ritual of purification before the ritual. They have some special purification. They have to go through the body. They have to clean the body and so on. And the place have to purify. But in the moment of possession, it's done during the ritual. During the ritual, through the music and the dance, they get this in this mood of possession, and they are possessed by the spirit. They change to this situation of ecstasy, and they can. And that moment is when they can in communication with the spirits. So the spirit will tell their words to the shaman, and the shaman will transmit these words to the people present in the ritual. So, but the way they change is inside of the main ritual. We didn't talk much about that, but it's called Kut, and it's a very long ritual, divided in different steps. There are about 12 mainly steps they have to go through. And each of one is this step, they are possessed by different gods. And so each one of these parts of the Kut, it is called Kori, it has different, first they call the gods. They call the gods. And then they will entertain the gods with the songs and the dances. And when they are entertaining the gods, they will get in ecstasy, and they become the communication with the gods. They transmit the words of the gods, and the question that the people have in the place, the shaman asks the gods. So, for instance, when there is somebody die so they will. When he or she was alive, I didn't tell her about that I was that. So she will communicate, and the god will say, "Don't worry," or whatever they want. And after that, so she will. Still entertain the gods and so on for a time, give food to the gods or drinks to the gods, and finally they will send away the gods to go back to the other world. Okay, that is the process usually. Okay. Any other question?
First of all, thank you so much. It was very interesting. And I wanted to ask, during your field research, could you understand if society has a different idea about women and men shaman? If, since you said also that before there were more men doing these kind of things, Korean society has a different perception about them, or it's the same?
About men shaman.
Yes.
In the old times there were more men shamans, but from Koryo 10th century, 11th century on, was mainly women shamans. Nowadays, you want to know if there are some. So I put the example. I didn't want to go a lot about this example, but this was a very important shaman, very famous shaman. This Paksu shaman. I put the pictures there. So I have a very long interviews with him. The other one, this one. I didn't want to talk because it was a little sad, this story, but just because you asked me. Because you can see what is the situation in the society. He commits suicide, and this is the funeral, or the funeral they do because I think I'm not sure why he committed that. I think the social pressure on him was very strong. Finally, he died like this. So, in fact, as you can see, usually when people think about shamanism or Korean shaman, mainly think about women shaman, and men shaman. Usually they always be with the women shaman together, and so there are this gender problem that society may not accept this situation. This is not always like that, right? This was this case, but because I know other Korean men shaman that they did very well without problem, but still this gender vision in society is strong, right?
Good afternoon. Once again, thank you for the lecture. I would like to ask regarding the sexual purity. You've said before that being a mudang or a shaman can also be obtained through hereditary. So, like, sexual purity, like, do the shamans obtain it during the purification period of the ritual, or do they really have to stay pure? Like, I was kind of confused about that.
Yeah. So shamans usually they get married, they have relations, sexual relations, like any other. So the purity aspect is mainly during the rituals, right? But also they have to have a kind of life that is somehow pure, no example of life. So they go often to the mountains, for instance, to pray and to wash themselves in the river, in the cold water. They always talk about cold water, I don't know, but the cold water, and they get purified, but especially before the rituals. For instance, before the ritual, for about 1 week, they cannot have sexual relation with their partners, and so on. But it's mainly in the ritual. In the rest of the life, they have family, children, and so on. No. Right? I think, was that the question?
I was curious about something. I don't know how it works for the afterlife, because I was thinking, if they had such an important relationship with the gods, why would they were alive? Then when they pass away, do they have another treatment? I don't know. Or do they become something else? Or are they treated just like other humans passing away? Thank you.
Right. The cosmology, let us say, of shamanism is very simple. There is this world, the other world over us, and the world under us. So usually if you have a normal life, a good life, you will go to the other world and you become a spirit, ancestor spirit. They have so they will receive a special treatment, no? So in the rituals, usually there is, I say that the main ritual is called Kut, and in one of there is 12 steps, and one is the 12th of them is dedicated to the ancestors, and they will possess also the shaman, and the shaman will transmit the words of the ancestors. So they have a special position after that. If they don't have a good life or have a strange way of dying and so on, they go to the underworld. But the idea is that they will come through the rituals and prayer of the family, go to the other world afterwards. Or if they don't have family and so, they are called errands. They stay around this world doing things until they are taken to the other world by these rituals. But the idea is that they go to the other world and they have a special position afterward. Yeah.
I have another question. I don't know if there's an answer to this, but I'll just try and ask. Does something happen if someone after Shinbyung doesn't decide to become a shaman?
Yes. Many people say, I don't want to become a shaman because traditional shamans were not very well seen by the society. Usually they live in the poor areas and so on. So many people can say, no, I don't want to become a shaman. So when I ask shamans what happened, the same question you asked me. When I asked them what happened with these people, so usually they said that they will not live, they will always be suffering because of that. Because a spirit will also, what do you say, will say they will stay there trying to, so they will not have a very good life. But there are many. Usually, that is usually almost all the shamans I interview, at the beginning they will say, I don't want to become. So they will stay for a few years trying to reject this call from the spirits. But finally, they will say, I will go through the Nerinkut, through the path. But usually that is what they say about this. I have a question for you. Do you think shamans may be feminist, or shamanism can become a feminist spirituality? I'm doing my research still about this, and I'm asking shamans. Yes, recently I was in Korea a few months ago. I went to see a shaman, this Chonsundok shaman, the other one was here. this one. I went to her house and I told her that I was doing this new research about to see if feminism have something to say in shamanism. I asked her, do you think the shamans are feminists? So she told me that she thinks she's no feminist, but, but maybe other young shamans can be feminists. She thinks that because she's about now 55, something 55. She said that for many years she has been in this tradition, trying to keep shamanic tradition and all the Korean traditional culture, way of thinking and morals and so on. Although she tried to change things in the way, and she's very committed in the way, in the religious aspect of shamanism, but she herself said she cannot consider herself feminist, although she understands that she tried to help women and so on, but she doesn't. But she thinks that maybe can in the future, because now many young women are also shamans and are looking. She was, in fact, she was very active. I don't know if you know all this Minjung Undong, all this movement in Korea for the against the military dictatorship. She was very active during that movement and doing rituals during the movement with the demonstration with the students and so on. And because of that, she was very much rejected by other shamans. But although she has this changing thinking and how society have to change, because of her, from every person have her history, no? She said that, but that is her opinion. No? I don't know, what do you think after listening about shamanism and so on? Do you think shamanism can become this kind of feminist spirituality? Do you think? I don't know. So anyway, you think? you have any? Oh. Just a question to think about. Any other question? Otherwise, I don't know. Any other question? Yes.
I have a curiosity. Since the ritual is very emotionally intense, I'd like to ask if they are also physical symptoms after the rituals or in the...
You mean some transformation or... Yeah, after the ritual, they get very tired, really. That is why the ritual is like that, divided in 12, because they do one part, they rest for a while, they do the other, they rest, in the middle they eat and so on, and they have, because it's a very long, usually the ritual lasts at least 1 day. Before, usually lasts 3 days. 3 days. The first one I took part with this Piora Manchin was 3 days ritual. And they get really tired and so on because they all the time dancing and communicating, but that kind of transformation there is. Okay. Any other question?
If there is no, okay.
Good afternoon. I was wondering, since nowadays society is changing so much, we are becoming, I think, more materialistic or at least less spiritually involved. I wanted to ask, how does shamanism survive nowadays, and if there is a community of shamans that help each other with strengthening the relationship with society? Thank you.
Yeah.
it's true, no? That it's changing very much, Korean society. Many people ask me about how it's possible that shamanism is still alive in Korea, because, as you know very well, Korea is very technological country, but the number of shamans is growing very fast. Young shamans, there are very many young shamans becoming shamans. There are many cyber shamans. You can receive communicate with them through the social networks, or Kakao Talk or whatever. Usually they do. So somehow they are very traditional in one side, but on the other side they adapt very well to the new changes in society. For the religious aspect, I think is what you mainly, the religious aspect, so there are groups of shamans that are very conscious about their as religious leaders. Others, not so much about this aspect of religious leader, but those who believe in this religious leadership also, yes, they have a community of shamans, because usually shamans, the ritual, they don't do alone, they also with other shamans, many other shamans. Usually there is a group of shamans, they call each other when they have these rituals, so there is this connection between the different shamans. But it's true that some other shamans are more individual shamans. This is, I think, also a reflection of what is Korean society today, because although traditionally it was a community, Uri, no? La idea of Uri society, we society. But nowadays the individual aspect is getting more and more strength. So it's also a reflection, reflects what is Korean society today, right? But yes, the ones who there is a kind of very, although it's true that each shaman is like independent, let's say, no? They have their practitioners who go to see. It's called because in Korean they are called tanggol. Yes, client. The translation will be client, but I don't know if very nice translation, but that is the translation. Tanggol is because there are people who go frequently to see them. So each shaman is very individual in that aspect, no? That they have their own clients and so. But then when they do these big rituals, like they do together with other shamans always. I don't know if I answer.
Do we have another questions or curiosity? Since the time is running out, maybe we can take one more question if you want. If not, we can end our first appointment of this conference. Okay. So applause again to our professor for his good, interesting lecture. And since this is the first meeting of this edition,